business. Let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are across Nigeria. But I have with me a very beautiful lady, a journalist, Ife Onyegbule. Ife, good morning.
Good morning.
It's nice to have you join me.
Nice to have you.
It's going to be me and you until we have Dr. Ekere join us as we get along.
Isn't that wonderful?
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, no time to talk.
So we're home alone for now.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's see what the headlines are. We'll begin with the Daily Trust. Daily Trust is where we start from this morning. Let's see what the headlines are. Why Ruga project was suspended. The presidency is giving reasons there. Suspension not solution to the problem. Experts are saying that, okay, Ruga has been suspended. That is what the headline there is saying. New Telegraph is where we go next. Fracas in House of Representatives. PDP members attempt to snatch maize and 2 minority leaders emerge. Elumelu, 115 out of 147 minority reps voted for me. PDP to Gbajabiamila, you can't impose leaders on us. You find all that on the front page of the New Telegraph. If we move from there now, we go to the Blueprint. Blueprint says, forget Ruga for now. Buhari is quoted as saying that. Northern Coalition insists on implementation, alleges gang up. Ohaneze hails federal government as Akwa Ibom elders meet. You find all that on the front page of the Blueprint. Okay. From there, let's go to the Nigerian News Direct. News Direct says, Ruga settlement, Northern youths issue Buhari 30-day ultimatum to implement policy nationwide. Ruga settlement, Northern youths issue Buhari 30-day ultimatum to implement policy nationwide. That is what the News Direct is saying this morning. If we, let's talk about this Ruga thing. The debate has been on for...
That's the hottest topic.
It's one of the hottest topics, exactly. And a lot of people have been talking about this. Now, the way it was communicated, because if you see the plan on paper, it looks really beautiful.
Yes,
because the strategies as to who is going to benefit, and all the chain, the value chain from from the livestock to the veterinary to the milk to meat to all the chain is really beautiful. It's going to create employment. But there's still something Nigerians feel that the government is not communicating well to them. But before you say anything, let me welcome Dr. Ekere. It's really nice to see you,
You're
really.
welcome.
I guess the rain combined with the...
It's good to see you today again.
Yeah, exactly. We were home alone until you came in. The rain and the traffic, I guess. Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, really.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. Ekere is from the University of Lagos, and he is joining us to do the analysis. Now, yeah.
Yes, of course. When you look at the breakdown the government gave at first, wonderful idea, lofty. And I agree with someone who said to me, if you had called it something else and not say to us you were trying to use that to stop what was happening between herders and farmers, people would have, thought about it and maybe see the good in it. But that word, Ruga, then you come out to say you want to use that to sort out the clash. Everyone, people just felt, no,
but now
this is just the opportunity.
But now they say Ruga stands for Rural Grazing Area.
But you've forgotten that human beings just follow the headlines, what they see. They're wondering, what in the world is this? Some even add settlement to it. It's already a settlement. It's an area. But when you hear the word Ruga, most Nigerians just wonder. You just want to give them the opportunity to bump in on us at night, kill our people, burn our houses and all of that. I was saying yesterday, of course, on a radio program, and I said to people, I grew up seeing people who were herding cows. They were wonderful people.
Beautiful.
They will ask you of water.
We always look forward to the Fura and Nunu they
exactly.
bring. And
then where I come from in Mbise, in Imo State, there's a place called Ahera Junction.
Okay.
It is where you have cattle. It's an abattoir. They kill cows there. So we've seen them for God knows how long. Some of them are married to Igbos and they're having a wonderful time. But people don't want to understand what that is. For you to say others will give up their ancestral land and people just move in. And you know what it's like? You bring in one person, he brings another.
Yeah,
another,
but originally they are all Nigerians. If they all want to live there, why not? But
would you give me a place to rear pigs somewhere?
Why not? So long as you're paying. So long as you're paying. Dr. Ekere.
Yeah.
Now, the one other issue, one other controversy that a lot of Nigerians have talked about is that we've been having this rearers as nomads that don't really settle in one place. So the moment you're talking about Ruga settlement, you originally even violates how they have been moving, because it's going to be very expensive to keep the cattle in one place and then make arrangement for their feeding, because you have to keep feeding them. They eat from morning till night as far as all the cattle are concerned. But even though the federal government has said this is not only about cattle, it's about livestock as a whole, how does this come to you?
Thank you. The ideas are always very beautiful when they are presented like this, but implementation becomes something else. And the lifestyle of the people we are talking about is such that when you find one, that one attracts another, that one attracts another. They don't spread. They will gather in a place, and in no time they will be demanding for an emirate. You know, along the line there will be challenges. Yes. Now, this is
but is anything wrong in having there, like you have
Ezendibu,
exactly, you have all of those things. Is it different?
No, you see, those things you are talking about, they could be very easy in places like Lagos. I recall sometime in Canada, there were issues like this, and the ones who came in who were trying to make a claim that this is not part of their culture, the original settlers told them that you only came to join. You must align with what is here, and not to tell us to change things because we need to accommodate you. If you feel comfortable with what is on ground, then you can join. Now, but that is not the situation.
I remember
as we speak
the Canadian issue that had to do with eating pork, providing pork for lunch in schools.
Exactly. And when you look at the trend that is going on today, it becomes very frightening to begin to think of settling these people in a particular area. And in any case, who are they? Is Ruga a tribe? No. Now, you are looking for people. Are there some Nigerians who have been displaced from their tribe? Where do you want to settle them? How have they been living before now? Where have they been grazing their cattle?
Someone was saying,
and in any case, if you go modern, look at people, Fulanis are not the only ones who rear cattle. There are others who, people have farms. They contain their livestock.
I read in the papers yesterday about the Anambra State governor showing off some cattle that people are actually rearing right there in Anambra State. It is possible.
Of course.
I thought about the Angus cows that I saw in the Netherlands, as it were. You didn't have them walking all over the place. And someone says to me, if you're looking for people to resettle, there are so many people in the IDP camps.
Too many.
Find a place to resettle these people.
When it even comes to the Nigerian cattle, the breed is different from the one you see in many parts of Netherlands and in Brazil and all of that. The Minister former Minister of Agriculture, Ruga, has come out to say in the early 2015 that the Nigerian cattle is the most is the cattle that that looks more hungry than any other cattle in the world, because they just move around from place to place eating grass. And if you see, those grasses are just there. It's not a deliberate strategy of feeding them with balanced diet.
So there's no plan.
In fact, that even makes it easier, because in fact, Nigeria has plenty of grass for them to feed. So let the owners collect the grass and take it to their ranches.
But it's one thing to cultivate and transport the grass.
That is their business. Every other person does the same with their business. This is not national business. This is private business.
It's a private business.
All right? So for you to begin to make special laws for a certain group of persons, creates the impression that you are trying to do something strange.
The president has suspended
not just suspended,
for now, remember, it says that it's been suspended
it should be abandoned.
So what's going to happen?
Well, the point there is it can be rejigged.
Let it create enabling policies for farming generally, not just for cattle.
All right, Dr. Danekere, we have to leave you here. Thank you very much, Dr. Kere, for coming on the program. And Ifeanyi Egbule, thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Right.
Well, right now it's time to take a look at stories making the headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio a journalist, a beautiful one at that, Ife Onyegbule, and Dr. Dan Ekere from the University of Lagos. Thank you for coming, Dr. Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ife, for coming. All right, let's head straight to the papers now. We'll start with The Nation. Why Buhari suspended cattle settlement project? Fasami Otom Adebaja, others hail action. to the front page of the Daily Trust. Why Ruga project was suspended. Presidency suspension not solution to the problem, expert. And we'll move to the front page of the New Telegraph. Fracas in House of Reps. PDP members attempt to snatch maize. 2 minority leaders emerge. Elumelu, 115 out of 147 minority reps voted for me. PDP took Bajabiamila, you can't impose leaders on us. We will be looking at that story shortly. On the front page of the Blueprint, forget Ruga for now. Buhari Northern Coalition insists on implementation, alleges gang up. And Ohaneze hails federal government as Akwa Ibom elders meet. And finally, on the front page of Nigerian News Direct, Ruga settlement, Northern youth issue Buhari 30-day ultimatum to implement policy nationwide. All right, I want us to look at the story, the fracas in the House of Reps. Some would say, isn't it too early to have a situation like this? But if you recall, in 2015, a situation like this also happened. But at the time, it was the APC where they had also this issue with regards to, you know, the election of minority leaders and the likes. But then, what do you make of this? There was an attempt to snatch the maize. I mean, one would ask, is this becoming a trend?
This is quite early, as you've said, very early in the day. You guys have just resumed. It is expected that you get down to the business, roll up your sleeves, get to work as it is. But you find now that, I'm wondering how these 2 men are going to work together, Ndudi and of course Chinda. The speaker actually wanted to read a letter mentioning one person, and the other says no.
And from that letter, it was the minority parties that said this is who they have agreed. But then the party had a letter saying that this is whom we have chosen. Now, two issues.
Yeah, big issues. We begin to wonder now, is it now a process where you anoint people? I thought people would decide this is who we want to actually lead, as it were. But as you've talked about, and that actually caught my attention also, why would anyone go for the maize in the first place? Is that what we're going to see with this house now? I'm just watching to see exactly how that unfolds.
I'll come to you, Dr. Kerry. What do you make of this issue now? It is meant to be the minority parties coming together to choose who they want as a leader, and then the PDP saying, no, you cannot impose a leader on us. This is not about the PDP, is it?
It's certainly not about the PDP alone, but then clearly PDP is a major of the minority. So it should be expected that the PDP will produce a minority leader. But at the same time, it's not just, you know, something of an individual or just a clique coming out to say this is the person. I was thinking that the right thing would have been the groups sitting, holding their meetings, and perhaps even conducting their election to take a popular position.
But the group chose someone.
Yeah, that you see, when things like this happen, you begin to hear all manner of versions.
Why is the party coming?
The party chose me. The party nominated me. This was it. The group chose me. Oh, so number 115 voted for me out of all this. At the moment, we don't have any way of verifying all of this. Yeah. All right, but I am thinking that they should rise above these mundane sentiments. The idea is not about who becomes minority this or who becomes that. What is most critical is to deliver on the responsibility.
That was why they came in the first place.
Beautiful. So, if this is the way they are going to start, but I don't think it is that strange that it's too early and all of that. There's no point at which matured people will not have the possibility of disagreement.
But there should be the mace?
Yeah, that is the worrisome part, because nothing has happened to those who have been stealing maces over the years.
And breaking it as it were.
Some have used it as weapons. Breaking heads, stealing, snatching, and sometimes, yes, at the end of the day, okay, but we can't track this to you, to the point that such actions have been hailed, promoted, and some have even emerged into good. So when you have a scenario in which crime becomes rewarding, then you eventually, inadvertently, promote it. So I am thinking that the National Assembly should be able to set the record straight.
All right.
At least for once. dealing with this issue squarely.
Yeah.
At least let there be some disciplinary measures for those who attempt. I'm not even talking about those who actually succeed in stealing. They should be categorized as thieves, because what they are doing is stealing the maize.
We have to leave it at this point. Thank you so much, Ify, for coming. Thank you, Dr. Kerry, for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are saying across Nigeria. And I have with me Ify Onyegbule. She's a journalist joining us on the studio. And from the University of Lagos, Dr. Daniel Kerry joins us here as well. It's nice to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For
Great.
to be here.
Let's begin with the Nation newspaper this morning. The Nation is saying, why Buhari suspended the cattle settlement project? Why Buhari suspended the cattle settlement project? You can get all that detail on in the Nation. It's on the front page there. Now moving to the Daily Trust, which is the next paper. Why Ruga project was suspended. The presidency is offering explanations to that. Now, suspension not solution to the problem. Experts are saying that. Okay. Moving now to the New Telegraph. The New Telegraph is our next point of call. Fracas in House of Representatives. PDP members attempt to snatch maize. Two minority leaders emerge, and Elumelu, 115 out of 147 minority reps voted for me. Right? And PDP to Gbajabiamila, you can't impose leaders on us. You find all that on the front page of the New Telegraph. Let's move now to the blueprint. The blueprint says, forget Ruga for now, according to President Buhari, and Northern Coalition insists on the implementation, alleges gang up. And Ohanes Ndibu hails federal government as Akwa Ibom elders meet. You find that on the front page of the blueprint. And then the next is Nigerian News Direct. News Direct says, talked about on Ruga settlement, Northern youths issue Buhari 30-day ultimatum to implement policy nationwide. That is what you see on the front page of the News Direct. Okay, gentlemen, one issue I'd like us to talk about is the story we're following this morning about the fire incident around Ijegun in Lagos. It brings us to the realities of safety around. Some people often talk about the issue of vandals and sabotage in the system. We often see these things, but government coming to tackle this thing headlong. When it comes to safety of pipelines or safety of tankers and all of that, we haven't still seen any strategy to put that to an end. Dr. Ekere, I'd like to start with you on this.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it has become part of the Nigerian system. You find out that on the roads, tankers are everywhere, competing with other smaller cars and the rest. And unfortunately, the drivers drive with this mentality of who go wound, because they know that their vehicles are bigger. And, much of it is because of the way we have, how we transport our petroleum products and the rest of it. When you go to other climes, you hardly find tankers on the roads conveying petroleum products. Now, the pipelines, as we speak, there are issues of safety. Vandalism is taking place. People breaking into these things and, siphoning so much of this, illegal bunkering and all manner of things are happening. Now, that is on one end. Then the next issue is even the attitude of the drivers themselves, the tanker drivers. That's another issue. Then what about the state of the roads? All of these have actually contributed to the challenge that we are having. And you can resolve all this within the circle of governance. The way we operate, it looks as if nobody is in charge of any of these things. And that is why everybody does what he likes. Look at Apapa. Several tank farms are there. So you expect that since there are no other ways of conveying the products from that neighborhood to where the end users will get it, then the tankers will be on the way. That is why you find tankers lined up on top of the bridges for days, for weeks, and all manner of, other activities happen along the line because they are human beings. So many things. In some cases, some of them even use, some kind of things for food, to the point that you find some who even cook. All right? So, yes.
On the road.
Yes. Wow. They have to eat.
They have to eat. They have to bath.
They have to bathe.
They have to go to toilet and all of that. And so all that is done
along the line. You are creating a terrain for insecurity, for safety issues comes in as a result of that. So we need to really address this comprehensively.
Okay. Now, if the issue of unemployment, some analysts have said that because there's unemployment, you find hoodlums who are looking for any means to survive. If there's a pipeline we know that passes to you, why not? Let's hit it and make some quick money and all of that. Is that what is part of the core of some of these issues?
That's the major. Of course, as Dr. Kerry was talking, what came to my mind is poverty. Poverty is what will make you go into vandalism
and become too
of
desperate
things like that. It's not even just the petroleum products when they spill on the road. You find that when a tanker is on the road and it's looking like it's having some issues, people are already waiting. Is it a big truck that's carrying drinks or what have we, and there's an accident, it tips over, people are waiting to go and steal some of those things. You find that there are trucks that also break down. I saw people scooping vegetable oil from the gutters, as it were.
Yeah, that video went viral sometime.
It's all about poverty. So I think that for you to remedy or deal with that issue, you must give people jobs. You must put food on the tables of Nigerians. And when you're able to deal with poverty, all of these things will be a thing of the past. I don't understand why we have trailers and tankers battling with small cars on the road. It is very dangerous. And unless you deal with what it is, the root cause that we've talked about, we'll continue to see things like this.
Now, Dr. Kerry, one of the issue is, a lot of people have said that the mindset is what is even in the core of these things, because in other countries, apart from outside Nigeria, when you visit other smaller countries, the way people approach issues like this is always very different. But people there, if you make comparison, some of them can even have the indices or indexes of poverty can even be higher than what you have in Nigeria.
That is correct. Those are possibilities. But that mindset did not just fall from the sky. The mindset is a function of the environment.
That's right.
And the environment we are talking about, government, is at the head of it. You see, so the kind of leadership you get will, to a large extent, create a kind of environment that you eventually end up with. And
so
that
we have
environment is
mutated
going to have,
over time.
Yeah, so whichever way you are thinking now, if you look at it deeply, has its root in the way you are being governed. So once you have seen, because today practically everybody who goes into the government space wants to take what they can get from it, because over time that's what people do, and those who have done that are being celebrated all over. So when you get there and you fail to do that, when you come back home, you become a serious issue in your community and the rest of it. These are functions of governance, and that will affect the mindset. So if at the end of the day, hunger looms all over the land, what kind of mindset are you going to have? The mindset of a saint?
What do you want to tell a man who's hungry?
I mean,
what do you want to tell a man who's hungry?
The first God that a hungry man will worship is food. So until you get that one done, you are not going to think of anything sane in that manner.
You need to survive first.
That is the first thing.
And
so
fill your stomach first.
It's a huge challenge. Until we address all those issues, don't expect any right thinking among
So there's a lot for government to do.
Obviously.
So much.
The head is critical.
All right. Yeah. We have to leave you here now, Dr. Dane Kere. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for the
very much.
Thank you for
Lady
having
in red.
us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, he feels on fire.